Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Welcome to Questioning Aesthetics Symposium. I am Yuriko Saito, Professor of Philosophy at RISD and co-organizer of this symposium. Finally, the day arrived to reap the reward of a year and a half of planning. This symposium is a collaborative project between RISD and Trans-disciplinary Aesthetics Foundation and was made possible with funding from both organizations. I will ask its founder and director, Michael Kelly, to speak about the foundation's mission and the context for this symposium after my introduction. For RISD, this symposium is timely as we are becoming increasingly aware of the vital importance of academic research in art and design education and practice. It is our hope that the presentations and discussion during these 2 days will provide a platform for further exploration of aesthetics in today's world, art making, and design practice. As somebody who studies and teaches aesthetics, I firmly believe that the power of aesthetics is immense, though often underestimated, and it has a critical role to play in the humanities' collective and ongoing world-making project, for better or worse. This recognition is particularly important at RISD because all of our students are future world makers in the most literal sense. Now, if it takes a whole village to raise a child, it certainly took a whole RISD village to make this kind of event possible. It's true. I want to thank the tremendous support I received, both in kind and funding, from many parts of RISD, and the list is quite lengthy, happily. The Office of the Provost, Office of Dean of Faculty, Division of Liberal Arts, Division of Experimental Foundation Studies, Division of Fine Arts, Division of Architecture and Design, Graduate Studies, Department of History of Art and Visual Culture, Department of History, Philosophy, Social Sciences, Department of Literary Arts and Studies, Department of Illustration, Department of Industrial Design, Museum, Office of Intercultural Student Engagement, Office of Research and Partnered Program, and the Library. Phew. It's happily a long list. I also want to give special thanks to the following people. Patty Phillips, who was my RISD co-organizer, Nico Razarakis and Daniel Hewitt from Research Office. Nico is somebody I call my lifeline. Emily Begin and Mark Pompilia from the Library, Amy Patanot from Graduate Studies, Scarlett Meng from Graphic Design, and Andy Grant, who is our tech guru, always in the back room. I just want to express special thanks to those people. We designed the program to be weighted toward discussion, so each presentation by 18 eminent scholars and artists is kept intentionally short at 15 minutes. It's really short. We will also keep the introduction of each speaker to the minimum, just the name and affiliation. And each speaker's short bio is included in the program booklet that you all hopefully got at the entrance. And you can also visit our website listed on the first page of this booklet for more longer bio for each speaker. And there's one change to the program, not content, but the chairship. The chair for the second session this morning on aesthetics and ethical making will be Damian White, Associate Professor of Sociology and Head of Department of History, Philosophy, Social Sciences. Ann Tate, who was going to chair, has a family obligation and unfortunately cannot come, so she sends her regrets. Now, since I have the podium, let me make a pitch about a new RISD publication, Perspectives on Contemporary Aesthetics. Though not planned or related, the publication of this book coincided with the symposium. This is another collaborative project between RISD and the journal Contemporary Aesthetics, and its editor, Arnold Bellion, happens to be our first speaker. And now a full disclosure, I am its associate editor. This book is a collection of 17 articles from the past 12 volumes of the journal, and designed by the Dean of Architecture and Design, Nancy Skolos, and executed by a graphic design graduate student, Scarlett Meng. The book itself is an aesthetic object, a uniquely and quintessentially RISD product. Copies are available for perusal and possible purchase at the store outside the auditorium. So please take a look during the break. All the proceeds go to RISD, so I don't have any conflict of interest in promoting this book. So now let me introduce Michael Kelly. He He is another co-organizer of the symposium, founder and director of Trans-disciplinary Aesthetics Foundation, professor of philosophy at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and editor-in-chief of the Encyclopedia of Aesthetics, published by Oxford University Press. The second edition of the encyclopedia came out 2 summers ago. And I should mention that several of the symposium speakers for this symposium contributed entries to the encyclopedia. Please welcome Michael Kelly.
Good morning. So thank you to all the people that Yuriko thanked. I won't read her list, but as she said, it's great that it's a long list. Let me just say a couple words about the 3 letters of the Trans-disciplinary Aesthetics Foundation, the T, the A, and the F. Starting with the F. The foundation is a tax-exempt, non-profit, private foundation. You can read more about it at Trans-aestheticsfoundation.org. The main purpose of it so far has been to organize and support the Questioning Aesthetics Symposium series. This is the 4th of the series. There are 3 more coming up between now and June. There are another dozen that are in the works in various stages of planning and so on in Barcelona and Buenos Aires and Dublin and various other places, as well as many cities in the country. So please take a look at, we have video recordings, as we will here, of this symposium, so you can see what concretely we're trying to do. So the A, for the, well, let me say the questioning aesthetics, the idea there is that, of the questioning is that aesthetics has been the object of critique for decades under the anti-aesthetic stance or the anti-aesthetic regime. And I think that's no longer the case. Aesthetics is more in the position of being the subject or the agent of questioning, including the questioning of aesthetics, but many other things, from art to prisons to various other topics, which is quite enriching. Now, for the aesthetics, my general characterization of it, doing the encyclopedia, is that aesthetics is critical thinking about art, culture, nature, design, everyday life, and many other things. It doesn't have necessarily a particular object or object domain of its own. It's quite open in that sense, and part of the purpose of the symposium series is to understand exactly the extent of that range and to see what's going on. And much of it is happening outside of philosophy. Aesthetics is part of philosophy, but just as art developed long before the museum, was sort of entrapped in the museum for a while, it's now freed itself from the museum. In a sense, aesthetics as sensation, perception, sensibility existed long before aesthetics was a part of philosophy, and it has reclaimed that broader notion. So it's still importantly part of philosophy, but much richer than that. So the last part of the TAF, going backwards, is transdisciplinary. I mean, the aesthetics outside of philosophy involves many other kinds of disciplines, obviously art history, literary theory, and so on, but also geography, neuroscience, race theory, feminism, a lot of other fields or disciplines, and so on. So to practice aesthetics means to do it in a transdisciplinary way. And the question is, how do you do that? And that, again, is one of the purposes of the symposium, bringing people, as we've done here, who are from different disciplines to try to understand what people are doing under the general name of aesthetics and see how we can carry it forward. The last word is, for now, is the last session we have is a salon or a round table, and one of the questions which I wanted to raise for all the speakers or participants, but to all of you, the audience as well, because the discussion format is meant to include the audience, is to look back at the end of the symposium, what has gone for aesthetics, what people have said about it explicitly or implicitly or otherwise, to think generally what aesthetics can be, what it is, what it could be, and how to take it forward. So with that, I'll stop and we can start with the first session. So thank you.